So there's a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric and anti-Islam rhetoric happening right now, especially in the UK, and it's absolutely deliberate. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's really going on. So this all obviously starts with and is centered around the genocidal acts of terrorism that the state of Israel is committing against the Palestinian people. Now, historically, this is not the first time the state of Israel has killed innocent people in Palestine and in Gaza. It's done it over decades, many times. But each time they've done it before, they've gotten away with it. So even though at the moment they are still getting away with it in that they are still killing innocent men, women and children, the difference this time is they have absolutely lost and got slaughtered on the propaganda war. Historically, they'd put out propaganda, they'd get a lot of endorsements from celebrities and politicians, and they'd basically shape the narrative. That hasn't happened this time because the majority of the world has seen the atrocities being conducted by the state of Israel and called it out. They have called Israel essentially a terrorist state committing genocide. More and more people are seeing it, not just Muslims, but non-Muslims as well. So they became desperate. What could they do to change this narrative? They did what they previously do, which is lie. Hasn't worked. They've got their celebrity and political endorsements. Hasn't worked. They've even gone as far as, to basically spend, what is it, 4 million per ad for the Super Bowl. They create 2 Super Bowl ads. So they spent $8 million on Super Bowl ads to basically garner sympathy and shape the narrative that they are doing right and justified in their brutal killing and oppression. Hasn't worked. So now this is their next step in basically trying to deflect the attention away from what they are doing. And so they are doing it by bringing in the age-old enemy of extremist Islam, terrorist Muslims, extremist Muslims, yada. They are deliberately trying to stoke the Muslim community in the UK and obviously in other parts of the world as well. But I was focusing on the UK because that's where it's kicking off in the last couple of days. But they are also stoking the non-Muslim community into believing that the UK has fallen, London has fallen, there's gangs of riots and Muslims that have just taken over. Like literally, I've just seen a post on LinkedIn from a dickhead in America by the name of Willie C. I bet the C stands for cunt because he has deliberately, opportunistically put out a video from riots back in October or September 2022, which were anti-Islam and anti-Iran, and basically captioned it as if this is something that's recently happened and Muslim riots have taken over London and they're attacking the police, yada. So basically seeing an opportunity to stoke tensions even further. And what's the point? The point is to get the non-Muslim community inside of the UK to be fearing for their lives, to be fearing for their country, to be fearing that Islamists, extremists and terrorists have taken over the country and it's not safe for them. But at the same time, it's to deliberately provoke the Muslim community into becoming outraged and angry and basically fearful as well, so that they react in a negative and angry manner. They want the Muslim community to get angry, to basically then say and do things by being provoked, so that they can then say, see, they are terrorists, they are trouble causers, they are extremists. And therefore it's very important to keep your cool, to be patient, to be calm, whichever side you're on, whether you're the non-Muslims that are fearing for your life, whether you are the Muslims that are upset. And it obviously doesn't help with people like George Galloway. So this is why that's kicking off in the last couple of days as well. We've obviously seen the speech by Rishi Sunak, which was fucking a joke. And what a lot of the MPs are saying, they are deliberately trying to stoke the Muslim community, and it has worked. And therefore the counter to that then is to use a useful idiot like George Galloway. And people might get upset about this, but I was working in Bradford when he became the Bradford MP, the town that I'm living in at the moment. He nearly became the MP here. The guy talks a great game, he's a great speaker, but he actually does generally jack all for the actual city, or for he's an MP for. But in this instance, he is being strategically used as a pawn to continue to stoke these tensions. So all the narrative right now is Islam is extremist, Muslims are extremists, they've taken over parts of the UK, they are no Zogons, and it's to deliberately, like I said, to upset the Muslim community, to provoke them into anger, and people like George Galloway will help with that. And then it's also to stoke the feelings of the non-Muslim community in that they are basically under attack and democracy is under attack, even though the current Prime Minister was not democratically elected. But it's all show and games to serve as a distraction. They want this to be a distraction so that you stop talking about the atrocities the Israeli government is currently committing. They want you to stop talking about Palestine. They want you to stop talking about the killing of innocent children, men and women. They want you to stop talking about those gruesome images that have been coming out of Palestine in the last few days. And they want the narrative to change. That is basically Western democracy versus extremist Islam, and all of these people need to fight each other. Meanwhile, whilst the attention then is off the state of Israel, they can continue to commit their genocide. So what should you do? You should stay calm, stay patient, stay peaceful, do not react, do not get angry, do not basically become fearful, because that's exactly what they want. They want you to stay in a state of fear, in a state of panic, in a state of chaos, and then to get angry and then to respond, and therefore just say and do extremist things, or things that can be really things that can be basically talked about as being extremist. What you should do instead, whilst you do stay calm, is then to redirect the focus back to where it should be. The fact that the Israeli government is still committing a genocide. They are still killing innocent people. So keep bringing that up. Keep talking about that. Shift the focus back to where it needs to be, and that is on the state of Israel committing an act of genocide. Don't fall for this pantomime. Don't fall for this distraction technique. Don't fall for this distraction technique. Continue to keep focus on the Palestinian issue and stop Israel from killing innocent people.